Straight to the corner.
Bola, three. Good.
Step back three. That's a good shot for three.
Stepping through off the window, good. Stepping through the raindrops and the finish on the right hand.
And then it's going to Boomers way with back-to-back threes. The Boomers, a WNBL chance.
The Cygnett WNBL continues tonight at the Bendat Basketball Centre as the Perth Lynx host the Southside Flyers. While the Lynx, they're 5 from 5 sitting at position 5 on the ladder. The Flyers, they're on a 5-game winning streak. It's a battle of the fives tonight. But the last time these two teams played, it was the battle of the Laurens as Lauren Scherf and Lauren Jackson went head-to-head in a great contest. What's tonight going to bring? We're going to find out very soon. But for now, it's Julia Montesano with renowned women's basketball coach Laurie Chiswick sitting beside me. And Laurie, Southside are looking unbeatable right now, but Perth, they're trying to keep their season alive. And when it's Friday the 13th, spooky things tend to happen. What do you think's going to happen tonight?
Well, Perth fans will certainly be hoping that the team has some tricks up their sleeve to try and stop this high-flying Southside team. And you're right, Julia, strange things can happen on Friday the 13th, so who knows? Maybe we'll see another upset in this round 10 match.
As you can see, Southside, as you mentioned, are flying high, coming off 2 big wins against the Boomers and the Spirit. They're one of the informed teams right now, and that win against the Spirit in particular, Laurie, was pivotal for them this season.
Oh my goodness, 118 points they scored, the highest of any team this competition. They just looked wonderfully in sync in that game. They were shooting the ball well. They were spreading the score, spreading the scores all around. In fact, Blitzovs was the only one of 12 players that didn't score that night.
Of all players.
Of all players. She scored 41 the game before, so go figure.
It's a funny old game, basketball. But let's take a look at the ladder. As you can see, Southside are sitting second. They're facing the 5th place for Perth Lynx tonight. And the top 2 are pretty much settled, but those 3rd and 4th spots, they sort of come into a bit of contention. Perth and Sydney both coming off some good form. Sydney getting the win last night over Adelaide. So it's tight at the top, but the rest of the ladder certainly has plenty of movement, and we're going to see that tonight, that's for sure. Laurie, we have to talk about Lauren Scherf. We have to scream her name from the rooftop. She's in career best form. She's top 5 for rebounds, blocks and assists. She's had 4 double-doubles. But last week against Sydney was a real breakout game for her, I think.
Well, it was fantastic to watch her. She had ended up with 33 points, but she had 27 at halftime and 14 rebounds. Her second quarter was phenomenal. She was confident in what she was doing. She was aggressive. She was assertive. She showed poise and leadership and lots of different ways to score. So she, put it to the floor. She shot the 3. She posted up inside, but she just, I love the way she played with such confidence. And then, of course, her and her partnership with Sammy Whitcomb, that high pick and roll action is tough to defend. So it'll be interesting to see, how she goes tonight against Lauren Jackson, because it was a battle last time.
It certainly was. Jackson had her best game of the season against Perth last time these two teams played. 25 points and 12 rebounds, and Lauren Scherf also had a double-double. Let's take a look at the starting 5 for Perth, though. Chloe Bibby sat out last week with COVID, and we don't see her name on the board there. So Alex Sharp keeps her place in the starting 5, Laurie.
She does, and she played, she's been in and out of the starting 5, so she'll be confident, comfortable moving into there. And Sammy, she didn't play the last time these two teams met, so they'll certainly need her leadership and her scoring punch. But it'll be interesting. Robbie Ryan had no points against Sydney, so she's going to need to get involved. But a really good starting lineup for them.
Yeah, Ryan Patrick mentioned Robbie Ryan was a bit sick last week, but here's the Southside starting 5. Bet Cole, Kayla Thornton, Maddie Rochi, Sarah Blitzars, Lauren Jackson. No surprises there for Southside. They're a pretty strong lineup the whole season, Laurie.
Well, you mentioned it. Jackson had 25 points and 12 rebounds that last time they played. Thornton played limited minutes, so it'll be interesting to see her impact. But if we browse our eyes over those 2 starting lineups, today they announced the Opals extended squad, a squad of 26. And tonight we will get to feast on 7 of those players and watch them that have been named in that squad.
Yeah, so if you missed the news, probably about a couple of hours before tip-off tonight, 7 Opals were named in this side tonight. Amy Atwell, Lauren Scherf, Chloe Bibby and Sammy Whitcomb for Perth. Sarah Blitzars, Maddie Rochi, Nadia Poch have been named for Southside. So Great recognition for those 7 players. They'll head to a training camp at the AIS in March to compete for Asia Cup and Olympic selection. And boy, I don't envy Sandy Brondello. She's got a tough job ahead of her. There's a couple of awesome names in that lineup, and you can check it out on the Basketball Australia socials to see the full lineup. But tonight, all eyes on Perth and Southside as they go head-to-head for the second time this season. The 2 Laurens at the tip, and it's Perth that's going to win out first. Here's Ryan. And she gets some early points on the board, Laura. You calling for it?
I did. That's great to see that her get, and I'm sure they would watch tape and she would realize, you know, she does need to get involved. She's an important cog in this wheel in this team, and that'll be a great start for her.
Let's see if Southside can respond. Here's Blitzarves. Bounce passes to Jackson. And the pass is cut off by Sharp, sorry. That basket won't count as a trouble.
There's some tantalizing matchups out there tonight. We've got obviously Scherf and Jackson. They go head-to-head, and Rochi and Whitcomb I'm really interested in, because that's sort of the new guard coming in, and we know how pesky Rochi can be. She's a great defender. She's in season best form, and so it'll be interesting to see if we do get to see them matched up.
Thornton also in great form. Can't make the basket count there, and Ryan's off and running again for Perth. To Scherf. Atwell stepping around Cole. And Thornton takes the boards for Southside.
This will be a real challenge for Alex Sharp. Thornton leads their team in scoring with 16 points a game.
Big block there by Scherf. Denies Blitzarves early.
And Lauren Scherf leads the league in blocks.
And here she is going for a big 3 and nails it. Continuing her form from last week is Lauren Scherf.
She's got her game face on.
It's a great article in the West Australian about her today. A good photo shoot as well, that sort of Superman sort of photo shoot. Go check it out, highly recommend it. Jackson though, gives it off to Blitzarves. Up against Atwell, spinning around Atwell and shooting against Atwell too.
That was a great defensive effort by Atwell. She kept Blitzarves in front, but just that turnaround fade away, very hard to defend. Great finish by Sarah.
Scherf once again, guarded by Jackson. Whitcomb goes in on the left and then shoots on the right. Classy finish by Sammy.
That's a good word, classy finish. That's exactly what that was.
Rochi dishes it out to Cole. And the pass to Jackson was cut off by Atwell. Whitcomb. Little no-look pass ended up in the hands of Thornton.
Thornton's such a clever player that she was there, but she didn't make a fuss about it and was just able to, you know, sneak in there and get that deflection, get that steal.
Thornton does it easily around Sharp. And just like that, 3 straight baskets for the Flyers. Ryan. And 1! Good start for Robbie Ryan.
I like her mindset, attacking, getting to the rack early. She's done that twice now, scored twice. It's good to see because, as I said, they need her involved.
Robbie Ryan spent the NBL 1 West season in WA, so she's familiarised herself well with these courts. And now she's at the free throw line. And converts the 3-point play. So leading point scorer on the floor right now is Robbie Ryan. Blitzarves to Thornton, to Rochi. Dancing around Ryan, confronted by Whitcomb. It affects the shot. Scherf off and running for Perth. Atwell. Back to Scherf. Drives in and was fouled on the way in.
No fear on taking Jackson on one-on-one. It was almost like she wanted her teammates to clear out for her and give her that opportunity. And that's what I'm talking about. Just the confidence and the assertiveness that we're seeing in Lauren Scherf is just fantastic.
And don't forget, the Jayco Southside Flyers are set to create WNBL history when they host the Sydney Flames in the first ever WNBL game to be played at John Cain Arena on Saturday, February 4. The game will provide Victorian sports fans with the opportunity to come together to celebrate Australia's greatest ever basketballer, Lauren Jackson, who has returned to the WNBL for the Flyers this season. So make sure you get your tickets at Ticketek. They're on sale now, and this game will sell out, I reckon, so make sure you're getting quick. Rochi spinning around sharp. Here is Jackson. Speaking of spinning, just can't complete. Ryan taking it up the floor for Perth. Scherf thought about the three. So too did Wickham. Atwell now launches. Great start from the Perth Lynx.
Well, it certainly is. It's real team basketball. Wickham could have shot that, but she chose just to make that extra pass from the corner. But Lauren Scherf drawing those defenders, and we can see that quick swing of the ball and then a nice finish from Amy Atwell. Very much timeout is needed by the Southside Flyers.
This timeout is brought to you by CTM Sport. Are you considering travelling interstate with your basketball team? Consider CTM Sport for a competitive, innovative and customised travel solution that puts your team on top. Visit ctmsport.com.au to learn more. So a great start from the Perth Lynx in this game, leading Southside 15 points to 4. They've really shocked Cheryl Chambers' side. What do you think she's saying there in that huddle?
Well, I think they need to take care of Lauren Scherf, and whether that means that, you know, if she's going to penetrate on Jackson, they need to have some sort of help. But know that, like, she's in assists. She's 4th in assists, Lauren Scherf, 5.5 assists per game. And for a big girl, that's really phenomenal. So, you know, they just have to take care of this. But really, they'd be talking probably more about themselves and what they want to do offensively, get it through some hands, try and be a little bit more disruptive defensively. Long time to go in this game. Just take a breath.
They've made some personnel changes. Conti on the floor as well as Bishop. So let's see if they can generate some energy for the away team. Nick Conti, of course, coming off that huge AFLW season with Richmond. 4-time best and fairest for them. Rochi. Thornton. Shot was cut off, and Scherf again pulls down another board. Atwell. Ryan. Nice move. Just can't complete it.
That's her 3rd drive to the basket. I think she didn't realize quite how open she was.
Rochi. Bishop. Conshegan on the scoreboard. Foul called, so the Flyers will throw it in from the baseline.
What a luxury having the players like Abby Bishop, Conti coming in off the bench. They're so deep, the Flyers.
And they often use a lot of their bench, or the majority of bench for each game. A lot of teams just have players sitting for the whole game, but Southside tend to use a lot of their players.
Well, they're the only team in the competition that doesn't have a player averaging over 30 minutes a game. And there we see Rochi just driving in. Nice finish.
Rochi coming off a great game against Bendigo. They all did, really, but she had a great game in particular. And there she is again, stealing it from the hands of the Lynx. Blitzarves, Conti. Back to Blitzarves, and now Rochi. Thornton with it. Gets it back. And converts a nice basket. And much needed for the Flyers. The Perth Lynx went on a great run there, and Whitcomb wants to get a basket back and does.
That was hard basket. She made it look relatively easy, but there was a lot of contact made there, and so she had to go through that physicality and finish.
Conti. Bishop. And now Rochi. Thornton from the 3-point line. Not quite. Ryan hits the deck, so Bishop's able to cut off the pass. Blitzarves. Back out to Thornton. Here's Rochi for a deep 3. Ryan pulls down the boards. This time Conti hits the deck. Ryan finds herself open. Good boards from Sharp. And good finish.
I love the way Sharp goes after the boards every single time. She's come up over her career with some unbelievably great offensive rebounds.
Rochi finds Blitzars in the corner. Long two. No good. Bishop.
Didn't hit the... I was gonna say it didn't hit the ring. The shot clock didn't reset, but didn't need to. A quick shot followed.
Long pass to Sharp from Wickham, and Sharp's able to complete the good work. Back-to-back baskets for Alex Sharp.
And just her work rate to run the lane there and just get in front of those Flyers players.
Just like that, there's only 3 minutes left in the first turn. The Lynx are dominating 21 points to 8. They've shocked the Southside Flyers. We're on a 5-game winning streak. Bishop. That's better to Blitzars.
That's such experience from Bishop, just recognizing what the defenders are doing and who's collapsing and who's open.
Ryan, nice pull up.
Well, she certainly is making amends for last week where she didn't have any points.
Rochi can't finish on the drive. They're not having the night that they had last week, that's for sure, the Flyers. Great pass to Atwell, just couldn't finish. Thornton able to evade the pressure for now. Blitzars, Bishop, and now Conti.
Southside are doing a lot of switching.
Shot clock ticks down to 5. Bishop's got to go and gets fouled! And one for Abby Bishop. A potential 4-point play. This will lift the Flyers for sure.
Lauren Scherf was trying to make a contested shot, and you can see here her long arm. She just extended it and followed right through and got Bishop on the head. Clear foul.
We spoke about the experience of Abby Bishop. She just knows what to do in those moments. Having another solid season for the Southside Flyers, averaging just a touch under 5 points per game. She's 76% from the free throw line too. Her season high came against Perth earlier in the season, 13 points. Had 11 rebounds to go with it as well. Converts the 4-point play. Here's Wickham. Fouled on the approach. Basketball count.
That's what you wanted. That's just her experience out there, Whitcomb, knowing that, you know, she's probably got a little bit of a height advantage on Conti and just, you know, absorbs. Again, what I like about that drive is she didn't try and go away from Conti. She initiated the contact so that she would have control on the finish. Smart play.
That's why she's one of 7 players tonight selected in that extended Opal squad, vying for selection in the Asia Cup and the Olympics. Conti. 10 seconds to work with on the shot clock. Ernst, she loves this spot. This time doesn't fall for it. Ball gets taken out of Edwards' hands. Rochi. Ernst fouled on the approach. Basket won't count for that one. And the Flyers bench have a bit to say about it.
They do. They think, well, if you counted it at the other end for Whitcomb, you should be counting it down here.
So clinch Hoykar, just with a bit of clumsy hands there. You can see Chloe Bibby on the floor there for the Perth Lynx. Great to see her back out there. Missed last week due to COVID as Conti drives. Dishes it back out. Bishop. Scoring on Bibby. Bishop going hard to the basket again. And this time a potential 3-point play for her.
Well, it was good recognition by Maddie Rochi to realize that Bibby was just out of, not quite in the great position defensively. So it'll be interesting. We believe that Bibby will just be on limited minutes because she's only trained once with them yesterday, and it was a matter of you know, how she pulled up and from the medicos to see how much she could play after coming off of her COVID bout.
So a minute left in this first quarter. Lynx 26, Flyers 17, and Sharp commits a foul. So that'll send the Flyers to the line from here on in. It'll be Rochi taking the 2 shots. Rochi makes the first one. Of course, coming off 21 points, 5 rebounds and 4 assists against Bendigo. Huge performance from her. Really is looking back to her best.
She is, and I really like what, while she's been scoring, you know, doing a great job scoring, defensively she is just up and in. As we can see, same thing, Conti, just active hands.
Rochi can't complete the good work. Wickham. Driving hard on Conti. Oh, what a finish from Sammy Wickham, showing off all her skills, the footwork, the finish, she has it all. Look at that.
Yeah, she liked it too. Little fist pump at the end.
There's just no defending that, is there? That footwork and that shot at the end, perfect. She converts the 3-point play. Conti finding it very tough out there against her. Poch. Back out to Rochi. And a travel call. So good hands there from the Perth Lynx. And they have 17 seconds to work with to try and extend their 10-point margin. We're going to get a quick sub. It's been a high-intensity start. Players are huffing and puffing out there. High-scoring affair so far. Wickham, again using her pace against Conti. Clinch Hoykard, fouled. So as you can see there, Robbie Ryan leading the points for Perth with 7 and Abby Bishop with 6. So 2 players that are usually on the bench, although Ryan got herself in the lineup tonight. Clinch Hoykard. Converts the first one.
She's come in and played some really good minutes for this Lynx team over the season so far.
She has, and she's converted her second free throw too, so she's making an impact. Ernst. Rochi. Big 3! On the buzzer, Maddie Rochi goes bang!
They certainly needed that going into this quarter-time break just to stem the flow from the Lynx, because things were looking difficult for the Flyers.
So at the end of the first, it's Perth 31, Southside 22. It's looking a bit dangerous for the Flyers at the start, Laurie, but they came back with a vengeance late in that first term, and that buzzer beater does a lot for their spirits.
Well, it does, because whether you go in down by 11 or 14 makes a huge difference mentally, and just the fact that they've got that last basket, you know, they'll go into this timeout just talking about, okay, things that they're doing a little bit better, they need to do a little bit better.
So looking at the best stuff from the first quarter, and the top scorers so far, Wickham and Ryan with 7, seen them a lot on the highlight reel. There's Wickham there with a classy finish, and then for Southside we saw Maddie Rochi get on a little roll. Blitzars and Thornton, of course, always on the score sheet. Bishop was really solid in her minutes, came on quite early in that term and made an impact straight away.
Yeah, Lauren Jackson's only played just under 4 minutes. And that's because Lauren Scherf was attacking her straight away.
So we look at the match stats so far, and the field goal percentage from Perth has been excellent so far. 10 from 15, 2 from 4 from 3-point range as well. So they're having a similar sort of trajectory to what Southside did last week. Really good shooting, but other than that, the stats look pretty similar.
They do, and both teams are taking care of the ball relatively well. Perth have 4 turnovers. Southside have 3 turnovers. So And that's really important in a game like this where you must have possession as much as you can. So you want to make sure every time down the court you have a good looking shot at the basket.
So second quarter about to get underway. A hot start from the Perth Lynx, and Southside just looking for some answers. So Bibby, Atwell, Scherf, Clinch, Hoykart and Ryan on the floor for the Lynx. And it's getting some early minutes in the second term for Southside. So Friday the 13th, hoops continue. Rochi with the ball now for the Flyers. Poch. Driving in hard. Blocked by Scherf. It's her second scalp of the night. That's why she's the league leader. Ryan. Up against Thornton. Bibby, she'd love to get on the scoreboard tonight. Here she is, Chloe Bibby. Atwell, great on the boards and scores!
What a great offensive rebound and putback.
Jimmy Atwell, named in that extended open squad, and that's why. Thornton going to work on Scherf. Poch couldn't hold on to the offensive rebound there. I just love how animated Lauren Scherf is during the games as well. She's sort of adopted that Keely Froling sort of attitude. She's always up and always got something to say. She's so invested. Atwell stepped out of bounds, so Southside.
And that's totally due to that pressure, that full court pressure that Maddie Rochi was putting on her.
Spoke about Rochi's offensive output against Bendigo, but she's been great on the defensive end too. Can't forget that. She gets it back now.
Well, between her and Conti, they just are full court. But you can't leave her open at the three-point line. That is...
Never leave her open. That's Carly Oates' sweet spot, isn't it? She gets the Flyers ever so closer to the Lynx. Bibby, can she respond? Of course she can! Back from COVID and back in the three-point land. Poch. Conti. Both her and Rochi on the floor. So expect some exciting and fast-paced basketball from the Flyers as Rochi pulls up for a long three. And there was a foul call in between all those bodies.
Was called on Robbie Ryan just in the blocking out situation.
So Conti will have it from the baseline for Southside.
Certainly with Conti and Rochi on, the Flyers would have a mismatch in you know, at least that 2 spot.
Ryan going to work on Rochi. Dumping her out of the way. Just can't bake it in. Here's Rochi to respond now. Thornton, Ernst. Poch. Yes! The young future of basketball is good. Nadia Poch lands her first point of the game.
I like how she has the confidence to take that outside shot if she's open. We know certainly she's got the long arms, can drive it hard, but there's a nice drive by Lauren Scherf.
Dishes it out, now she'll get it back. Can't bake it in.
Good D by Carly Ernst.
Thornton wants to go fast and sends 2 players to the floor.
I liked Thornton's recognition there that on that kick-ahead pass, whilst there were defenders back there, they weren't really set. They weren't in the stance. They weren't matched up. And so, wow, sent 2 of them to the deck.
A couple of ankles struggling in that set of play. See Lauren Jackson back on the floor. The Flyers now find themselves within 6 with 1 to come for Thornton. You hear the crowd getting right into her. But she's able to ignore them and make that free throw. Always a great crowd in the house at the Bendat Basketball Centre. Scherf gives them something to cheer about. Blitzards. Thornton. So the chance of defense gets around Atwell again, confronted, but gets her own boards and gets another basket.
Great help by Bibby, Chloe Bibby, coming across on that initial penetration when she put the ball to the ground, but she was still able to find a way to score.
Conti now for Southside. Blitzards. 2 shots.
You've got to know when Sarah's running with the ball in transition, it's going up. You know, she's very successful at that, gets her feet set, puts it up. Lauren Scherf just needed to have a hand there in contesting it, but not reach that extra reach.
Of course, we know Sarah Blitzar's scoring capability, Laurie, with that 41-point game against Melbourne a couple of weeks back.
And, you know, they gave out the list of top scorers. And I love the fact, just love the fact that her mom, 40 years earlier, scored 42 points. So good on you, Augie, Karen Ogden at the time. Got to stick with the mums, and but an unbelievable effort by Sarah to get the 41.
Do you reckon Sarah knew at the time that her mum had 42? Was she thinking, I've got to get one more basket?
No, but I heard her mum text her straight away to tell her.
Of course. Expect nothing less.
Which I love.
Household. Here's Sarah on cue. Pops another basket in. And the Flyers are right back in this one. 1 point the margin. They've come out with all guns blazing in this second term, and Sarah Blitzards has played a big part. Forces a timeout.
I like how she didn't just settle for a shot there, that she put it to the floor, was able to get by Sharp, and you know, finish strongly on her right.
This timeout is brought to you by Cygnett. To stay connected with the latest WNBL news and social highlights, keep your favourite tech charged up at home or on the go with Cygnett's extensive range of charging products and digital accessories. A big thanks to Cygnett for powering the WNBL with high-quality tech this season. Explore their range at cygnett.com. So a big start in this second term for the Flyers, Laurie. 15 points to Perth's 7. So how does Ryan Petrick sort of settle things down for Perth?
Well, again, you always knew that the Flyers were never, it wasn't just a matter of, you know, we'll keep going in the same way. The Flyers are too good. They're in second for one position for a reason. They scored 118 points for a reason. So you always knew they were going to come back, and that the momentum would swing their way. So it's a matter of now, you know, staying with them, trying to do what got you ahead, trying to pick up the defense a little bit, but you were always going to be challenged with them, and it's about maintaining your composure.
Ryan's hoping to do just that. Gives it off to Scherf. Back to Ryan, driving on Poch. Perth will have another go at it from the baseline.
10 seconds on the shot clock. Lots of time to set up a good play, set some good screens in your out of bounds plays.
Whitcomb struggled to get free. Sharp left wide open though.
So Sharp was open because Sammy Whitcomb cut so hard that she drew 2 defenders, and Sharp was able to pop out. Wide open shot, great execution, just didn't score.
Thornton. Conti hit the deck in the middle of all that. And the referee spotted it. So the Flyers get this one back from the baseline. Chloe Bibby comes back into this ball game for Perth, and you can see there Conti just manhandled.
Well, I like the way Conti went, you know, and I was just thinking about that, setting good screens. She's actually headhunting the bodies with those screens. She's finding them, she's headhunting. And while she's small, she's still getting in the way. She's still forcing those defenders to have to navigate around her. And at this point of the game, or really any point, if your offense is designed to set a lot of screens, you've got to headhunt and make sure that they're strong screens.
Atwell. Here's Atwell, my apologies, going from 3 and nails it.
We're just anticipating that it was going to be kicked out to her and she was going to shoot that shot.
Absolutely, I was. We'll go with that. Those two blonde buns, though. But Amy Atwell just knows how to light it up from three-point range. Potch into Jackson.
Nice.
He's on the board.
Just a nice presentation. Great pass just to get it high enough over the defenders. You know that Lauren Jackson's got great hands, can finish with anything.
Here is Whitcomb. Thornton grabs the boards off her. Conti. Out to Potch.
Wow.
Makes 2 from 2. She made 4 from 4 last week, Nadia Potch, and she's on that same trajectory again tonight. And Whitcomb able to nail an easy 2 there. Everyone just sort of stopped. Potch with the ball in hand again. This time feeds Jackson. And Bibi fouled her.
That's just, oh, we can see
Wow.
Friday the 13th things there on the end line. Jackson is just on that turnaround baseline. It's so hard to defend. She has lots and lots of height on Bibi. Really not much she could do out there.
So Lauren Jackson didn't play much minutes in the first term, and now she's come back on for a little spell. She's got herself a basket, and now at the free throw line. Of course, we know what she did against Perth last time these two teams played. 25 points and 12 rebounds, coming off 14 points against Bendigo last week. She's the GOAT for a reason. Can't convert the second free throw, though. But luckily, Southside get another chance at it. Sharp. Off and running for Perth to break the deadlock. She's fouled on the approach this time.
You could see as she was dribbling the ball down the floor in that sort of fast break transition that she was looking side to just see where there were other players and nobody was coming. So she was able to take it strongly. And strongly against blitzhoffs, which is no mean feat in itself.
So Alex Sharp with the chance to put Perth back ahead. Pops the first one in. She's had a great season so far. 2 double-doubles for her. Season high of 13 points against Townsville. So
I just like how she plays. You know, she's surrounded by superstars with Whitcomb and Scherf, and you know, Bibi's having a great season, but she just goes about her business, and you can always count on her work ethic.
speaking of people you can count on, here's Beck Cole on cue, puts the Flyers in the lead.
She's been sitting for a little while too because Conti's come in, so it's good to see that one of her first touches this quarter goes in. But a nice answer there by Sammy Whitcomb.
And she's feeling pumped about it. Puts Perth back in front. 3.5 minutes left in this opening half. Cole wants more blood. This time gives it off to Blitzarves. Jackson against Atwell. It was good defense by Atwell.
Well, good, and also Sammy Whitcomb came to help out, dig in, and just make life a little bit more difficult.
She can't respond on the offensive end. It allows Blitzarves to run. Jackson loves this spot. Thornton, great ball, and then one! She's fired up. And silences the home crowd in the process.
Just sort of the right place at the right time for Thornton.
She's been great on the offensive glass tonight. She's forced a timeout as well. The Lynx 47, the Flyers 48. This game looks like it's going to go right down to the wire, Laurie.
Well, certainly this half, it's been, you know, once the Flyers got back in contention and closed it out, it's just been basket for basket. And it's great. Neither of the team has the ascendancy right now. But you'd have to say the Flyers are just slowly finding their feet and their comfort level. And so it's something that, you know, Ryan Petrick will want to make sure these last 3 minutes they really dig in and they don't let them have a run, because you want to go in at halftime and be able to make your adjustments, make your tweaks, and have it come out in the third and be a close ball game.
Both teams are sort of relying on different players. Of course, Bibi coming off a COVID diagnosis last week. Understand she's going to play limited minutes tonight. And Southside going with Conti and Rocci a lot more, you know, instead of having Beck Cole for a while, for example, sitting for a while. So different combinations for both teams, and it's working quite well.
Well, it is. I must say we haven't seen a lot of Conti and Rocci together. But certainly we know that defensively they can cause a lot of havoc. I would have thought that, as I said, whoever's in that 2 spot, if it's in Atwell or if it's Sharp, you would have a mismatch that you might want to try and take advantage of that.
So we resume with Kayla Thornton at the free throw line. And gets the 3-point play. So Flyers back in the lead, this time by 2. Game-high lead for them. Wickham, Bibi for 3. And the Lynx scramble for that offensive board. Rocci dived in to help.
Well, it's good to see the sense of urgency of both teams going after those boards, trying to you can see that Sharp just tried to, she knew she couldn't get the board, just try to get a deflection to tap it to a teammate, and then bodies flying everywhere.
Second versus fifth tonight, but it feels like first versus second almost. The intensity is fantastic.
Well, Perth have, you know, done the right thing and beaten teams below them on the ladder, but they need to take away some of the top teams in Melbourne, Southside, Bendigo. You know, you need to be able to beat those to give yourself a chance to be in the mix.
They have got Bendigo and Melbourne and Townsville in their next 5 games, so big opportunities for them to rise up the ladder. Atwell was fouled.
So she'll shoot 3. She'll go to the foul line and shoot 3.
So a couple of times that players have been fouled at the 3-point line tonight. So another set of big free throws coming up for Perth and Atwell in particular. Amy Atwell's having a great night so far, only 8 points. Make it 9. Averaging 11 points, 5 rebounds for the season. And coming off 11 points against Sydney.
I think certainly Flyers have taken advantage of the fact that Lauren Scherf has 3 fouls and is sitting right now, because she was so influential when she's on the court. And so because she's having to sit, you know, that's a good opportunity for Jackson to go to work inside, for Thornton to go to work inside, because they just don't have that shot blocker anymore.
You notice that Conti's now off and Cole's on for Southside, so they're getting the taller lineup to perhaps exploit that Scherf absence. As Rocci goes in.
Talk about the taller lineup, and there's Maddie Rocci, the smallest player on the court, weaving her way to the basket.
Sharp. Edwards. Good to see her getting some minutes. There is Rocci. She's working so hard tonight. Spinning on Wickham. And Wickham's able to pull down the boards. Less than 2 minutes to play in the opening half. Flyers up by 2. Wickham going in. And fouled on the way in too. It's been a great battle between her, Rocci, and even Conti getting some minutes on her too. Sammy Wickham just standing up.
She is, and she's got 14 points already, Sammy Whitcomb, and she's really, you know, not from the 3-point line. She's 0 from 3 from the 3-point line, so it's all about driving and getting her feet in the paint and finishing, and getting herself to the foul line as well.
She's 89.5% from this range. Makes no mistake. Scores level once again. Abby Bishop back on the floor for Southside. Blitzards. Cole into Thornton. Guarded by Ryan. Blitzards for 3. Good boards by Bishop. Oh, beautiful pass to Blitzars. Those two just know each other well tonight.
Nice slice to the basket by Sarah.
Here's Ryan. Gets it to Edwards. Wickham. Tried the fancy pass. And Rochi got fouled on her way to the Southside end.
I think Sammy would have been better just to take that off herself. She sort of had Rochi on her back. Rochi did a good job to anticipate once she sort of got behind Whitcomb, and that she was probably going to do that wraparound pass to get in the way there and steal the ball. A smart play by Rochi.
It now means that Flyers will head to the free throw line from this point on. Rochi's got one to come. And makes both. Tell you what, I would not be making my free throws if there were clowns looking at me like that on the baseline. They've held their composure, Southside. Whitcomb can't bank it in. Here's Cole for three. Sharp takes the boards. Ryan's happy to slow things down and use up a bit of shot clock. Nice little dish to Edwards for her first points of the night.
That was a good screen by Edwards, then she rolled strongly.
Rochi, she's got just under 30 seconds to work with. Her team up by 2. I'd love to end this half with the lead. Thornton just rims out. Blitzar's just a bit mad about that foul, just taking the ball out of Sharp's hands.
Well, that could be her third foul, so that's costly when there's less than a minute to go, 30 seconds to go, to come up with your third foul.
So 2 big players on 3 fouls. Scherf for Perth and Blitzar's there for Southside. What can Ryan do with these last 5 seconds? Gives it to Bibby. Goes from the 3-point line. Foul called. I think there'll be 3 shots to come. No, my apologies. So, let's take another look at it. I thought I heard a whistle blow, but Flyers were adamant enough to wave it away.
I think it was just the whistle signaling the end of the half.
So yes, players walking back to the change rooms. That does mark the end of the first half. It was Southside with 55 points, Perth with 53. And it was a great first half. Perth came out firing, 31 points to 22 in the opening term. And then Southside got on a roll in the second quarter, 33 points to 22, Laurie. They really showed why they are one of the informed teams.
Well, you would expect that. You know that they're a good team. They've got certainly potent scoring, you know, and have had lots of opportunities out there. So, you know, it doesn't surprise me that they came out and sort of made amends in that second quarter. And they did it in different ways as far as driving, getting shots up. You know, they tried to push the ball. They had lots of different combinations of people on the court. And Perth now just have to, as I said, keep their composure and make sure that they, you know, make it a tough second half and take.
D-Trans has got to be a little bit better from both teams.
Lays from the corner, she knocks it down. Talbot for whistle, fading away. That's a terrific night for the Adelaide Lightning.
Gives it to Atwell, kicks it back out to Scherf to get her scoring underway. Back to Atwell, who then gives it to Scherf, who steps out for 3 from the corner. Back into Scherf, has to work against Froling. That is a great shot. Now she's warming up. To Scherf, not another 3. Oh my God!
As the game clock for the quarter to end wound down.
two with the ball right now as we see a steal from Maddie Rocci.
Rocci causing trouble straight to the rack. Rocci, can she launch into an offensive? Conti, triple. Here is Carly Ernst.
On cue.
And it goes. It's the Flyers by 46 points here.
Oh, wow.
Talk about bullying.
What a heads-up play from Christy Wallace. She inbounds it off the back of Maddie Rocci, gets it back, makes the two. Now to Blitzarves for another three. He's feeling it tonight. Blitzarves. Why not? When it's your night, it's your night. Pop over the top to Blitzarves. He's been lights out tonight. So that top four is going to be highly competitive. First to get there, Blitzarves with
40. This is our vow to you.
What's coming down the aisle?
We'll send Australia
I look like the girl next door.
wild.
I'm actually a little freak in the sheets.
The phenomenon of love is bigger
You're a lucky man.
than ever.
She's not doing too badly herself.
New Married at First Sight, Monday, Jan 30 on 9.
Gossip Girl here, your one and only source into the scandalous lives of Manhattan's elite. XOXO Gossip Girl.
Get your summer streaming on 9 Now.
Do not underestimate the power of a good blind. Take this exhausted couch. Now it stands before you. Magnifique. Even this cocktail of dead skin is gracefully waltzing. Da 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 da. DIY blinds. Change the ugly.
For 2 decades, 3 kings have ruled Melbourne.
True legends of the sport.
This summer, it's anyone's. Get ready
Expect the unexpected.
for the Open that's wide open.
Incredible stuff.
The greatest epic ever starts Monday live and free on 9 and 9 Now. It's the biggest WNBL season yet, and superstar Lauren Jackson returns. Turn it up. Don't miss a block, basket, or game winner.
Just not steal the win.
WNBL live on 9 Now.
Hi Hoopers, I'm Tess Madgen. I'm so excited to be offering virtual masterclasses this school holidays with She Hoops. Starting on the 9th of January at 5:30 p.m. every Monday night. In this 5-week series, we will be delivering a range of basketball skills. I will also take you through a number of mobility skills designed to keep your body active and engaged. And the best part is that it's free. Go to shehoops.com.au to register now and secure your spot.
Expect the unexpected.
It's summer's greatest show.
Best point of the match.
And he is the greatest showman.
Top shelf from Kyrgios.
What an athlete.
What a play. Just electric.
King Nick leads the Aussie assault.
This one is for country.
Ladies and gentlemen, take your seats.
Australia, it's time for a brand new day.
2023 is the start of a new era, but some things won't change a bit.
We still have the best news team in the
In
business.
breaking news this morning,
Heated debate is firing up.
The emotion from this man.
and you'll still wake up with Australia's best breakfast.
2023, a very big year. Don't forget, 5:30 sharp.
No worries.
So the Today Show with Sarah and that's my chair.
We're shaking things up, Carl.
Wake up to a brand new day. Monday on 9.
Looking for something to keep the kids entertained these school holidays?
Listen to the roar of that crowd.
Come and watch Australia's elite female basketballers in action as they battle it out for championship glory in the Cygnett WNBL.
Good.
That's a good shot.
Tickets available now. To book your seat, visit WNBL.basketbol.
The great champion.
He's a rare phenomenon.
Who is the greatest tennis player of all time?
Federer or Nadal?
I wonder what the 100 thinks.
You have Australia's support.
So, baby, in 90 days, we're going to be husband and wife.
I was with her for 5 days, and then I proposed to her.
She's so eager to be in love, she lets red flags just go.
People say 19-year-old, she's just using you. Maybe she could be.
90 Day Fiancé. Get your summer streaming on 9 Now.
The steals also 5-2, so pretty even in other sort of areas, but a great first half of basketball so far.
Certainly the Southside Flyers, their percentage, their field goal percentage vastly improved that second quarter. So yes, it looks pretty equal out there right now. Same with turnovers, 7 turnovers for Perth, 4 for the Flyers, so they're taking care of the ball. And as you mentioned, the assists, 12 in the assists, but Sammy Whitcomb, when we talk about assists, she's not got so many assists this game so far, but 16 points leads her team. And that scoring rate is with 0 from 3 from the three-point line. So she's finding ways and means of getting her feet in the paint and finishing. And she's doing a great job of that.
She's 75% from two-point range, as you saw on screen there. But for the Flyers, Kayla Thornton is leading the way for them. 12 points and 9 rebounds, so she's one off a double-double there. But as we spoke about a bit earlier on in the program, the Basketball Australia have announced their extended squad for the Opals this year. Sammy Whitcomb and Sarah Blitzars are among the players selected. There's 7 players on the floor tonight who have been selected, but let's talk a bit about the broader squad, Laurie, for people who might have missed out on the news. And there's a lot of youth in the squad, which is so fantastic to see.
Well, I love the fact that Sandy Brondello, she said, you know, she's been watching a lot of the WNBL games and looking at the players and what they're doing. And so the fact that Boles, Swain, Potch, who we can see on screen right now, have been included in the squad, who are all under 20 years old, is fantastic. Fantastic for them, the experience. They will go into that squad because you need to learn the culture. It's not only about just, you know, the playing and up against experienced people, but it's learning what the Opals culture is all about. To get a taste of that when you're young, as has, say, Shyla Heel, Jade Melbourne, Ezzy Magbagor, who have been involved for a number of years now. It's really fantastic that those young players have been included.
And a really healthy percentage of players from the WNBL too. 21 of the 26 in that squad are from this league. So definitely
Yes.
Keeping an eye on the best league in the world. We'll say it. We'll say it.
There's 5 players overseas that have been included, and which is good. But certainly we're spoiled in the WNBL with having so many Opals players here right now.
There's one of them on screen, Maddie Rocci. She's fired up tonight, trying to get her team their 6th win in a row. So far, they're leading by 2 against the Lynx. Away from home. Scherf up against Jackson. Ryan spinning on Cole. Rocci pulls down the boards. And just slows it down a touch. Blitz serves. Back out to Rocci. Cole. Jackson. Wickham with the boards. As we mentioned, she's leading her team in points, 16 for the ball game so far. Like that 18!
And there's that drive that Sammy's doing again. She's not settling for the 3-point shot, although we know what a great 3-point shooter she is. You know, she shoots the 3 ball at almost, well, this year not so much, but 30% this season. But just the fact she's finding a way to score with her feet in the paint is great.
Blitz serves. 5 to work with on the shot clock, so had to go. But the Flyers get it back. Or do they? I think Jackson might have stepped out of bounds.
I think that shot clock violation went just as it didn't hit the rim, and as they kicked it out, the shot clock siren sounded. So great defensive play phase by the Perth Lynx.
Here's Robbie Ryan. Had a good start to the game so far, 7 points for her. Wickham. Thought about the 3, but she knows it's not quite her night yet. So Scherf gives it out to Sharp. Back to Scherf. Jackson commits the foul. She's been having a tough time with Lauren Scherf tonight.
Well, you'd have to say Lauren Scherf is just being very aggressive. So I liked how she kicked it out and then reposted back up and you know, is taking Lauren Jackson to the rack, putting it to the floor every opportunity.
Wickham dishes it to Sharp, and 1.
Nice little no-look pass to Alex Sharp. And again, it's always that when you cut to the basket. So she did a good job that as Wickham went around that dunker spot, top of that circle there, she circled around underneath behind her defender. And so Wickham was able to just make a nice little pass in there, and really good reverse finish for Alex Sharp.
She's at the free throw line. And able to make the 3-point play. So a good start from the Lynx. They're back out to a 3-point lead early doors in this 3rd term. Rocci to Cole. And now Blitz serves. Jackson. Set her feet. And Rocci dives in for the boards. Great dish to Cole. Great execution from the Flyers.
Well, it was 2 people went to Rocci when she got the ball there and left Beck Cole wide open under the basket.
Perth ball from the baseline there.
That'll be Maddie Rocci's 3rd foul. And that's the matchup we wanted to see. Rocci on Wickham. It's not let us down so far tonight. It's been very entertaining.
It certainly has been. It's the shades of the Christy Wallace-Steph Reed matchup we had a couple of weeks ago as well. Some great point guards in this league. Fighting for that all-important Opals point guard spot too.
Yes, that certainly is wide open, that spot. We can see them putting the Cygnett sign back in place. Cygnett WNBL.
Very important sign to keep in place, mind you. They're doing a great job of supporting us this season. Scherf dancing around Jackson, but Rocci comes up with it. Cole. Back out to Rocci. Thornton back on the floor here for the Flyers, so can she get an impact? Blitz serves. Goes to the line for 2.
You have to look at the Flyers right now, and they don't. They're really playing sort of almost like a 5-out and just read what the defense is giving them. So they were all outside. Sarah cut inside. Ball goes in. A little bit of post movement when it does go inside, but really basic principles, and they're really playing on instinct of what the defense gives them.
So Ryan for Perth. Their team down by 1. Sharp. Out to Ryan. Atwell. Shot clock ticks down to 5 now, so Scherf's got to go. And Scherf nearly collects some of the crowd members there.
Foul called on Lauren Jackson. I think that must be the sort of the instruction to Scherf, that every time she gets the ball and LJ's on her to put it to the floor and attack her, because she's really done that every time.
You can see Lauren Jackson feeling a bit frustrated out there. Not quite having the night she had last time against this team, but Wickham is!
Oh, that is... She didn't shoot any threes the first or make any that first half, but that was to make up for it. Little step back.
Jackson just calms things down on the other end. Doesn't want the Perth fans to get too excited. Wickham. Sharp in the corner. Cole takes it for the Flyers. Rochi loses it. Very rare error from Maddie Rochi. It means Ackwell can go up the floor for Perth. Wickham. Driving in this time. Blitzard's able to get it back. Twelve points for Sarah Blitzard this game. Gets it back from Cole. Here's Rochi. 5 on the shot clock. Pulls up from 3.
Oh, did the same as Wickham did at the other end. A little dribble, then a step back at the three-point line. Anything you can do, I can do just as well.
Great battle between the 2 points tonight. Atwell couldn't land the corner 3 of her own. Here's Rochi once again. Now Cole. Jackson. Offensive foul. Alex Sharp has played electric defense tonight.
She came across straight away. As soon as that roll happened, you can see her in position. She knew that they were going to pass it into LJ straight away.
So great D there from Alex Sharp. We've harped on about how great her season's been. She's not had massive numbers by any stretch of the imagination, but she's just contributed.
She's so valuable on the court. So just a little thing like that. Recognize she's got very high basketball IQ. Does Alex Sharp, and so it's the little things, sometimes the unstatable things that she does that don't often get recognized, that make her so valuable for this Perth Lynx outfit.
So Conti just trying to pull Bishop away. Southside feeling a bit frustrated, aren't they?
Well, they're on 5 fouls already with 5 minutes to go, so that's going to be really tough. I'm sure Lynx will now have the mentality of let's attack them, because either they're not going to defend as well because they're worried about fouling, or if they do foul, they send them to the line every time. 5 minutes, that's a long time.
Scherf makes the second. She's had a good night so far, Lauren Scherf. Closing in on that double-double range, 7 points, 7 rebounds.
Kayla Thornton already has her double-double. 12 points and 10 rebounds.
Kayla Thornton's really getting into a groove at the right time of the season. Potch, shot clock ticking down, drives. Here's Thornton. Gets her own boards. In it goes. She's just been in the right spots tonight, Kayla Thornton.
She has.
Wickham. Here's Sharp. Had a free bibby, but went herself. Conti back on the floor for Southside. A big collision there. Thornton just staying down and having a bit of relaxing.
Another charge called. Perth are doing a good job of getting to the right spot. One thing I liked about at the other end, when Perth had the ball on offense, they just were moving around. They had the Flyers in so much rotation. They had to switch. They were closing out. They were making an extra pass. Somebody else was closing out. And as a defending team, the less rotations you have to have, the better off it is.
Bibby. And Bishop pulls down the boards there. Scherf right on her heels. Conti. Back to Bishop. And again, Perth's defense just stand up.
Thornton was just telling Sarah, just take a little dribble baseline, get a better angle to pass it into.
Let's see what she can do this time, Sarah Blitzards. Passes it to Conti. Gets around Wickham. And gets herself a nice three ball.
Well, she did, because Lauren Scherf had the long arm stretched out. Conti had to shoot over that. Quite a response from Wickham.
Here's Thornton, though, in double-double already. Bishop. Potch. Atwell, good hands, but Bishop gets it back. And Sharp off and running for Perth. The team's down by 6. Atwell drives in. Just short.
Flyers right now have an exceptionally tall lineup on. They've got Conti at the point, but then they've got Sarah Blitzards in the 2.
She pulls up for a big 3 here. And Sharp pulls down another board. Scherf. Wickham from the corner. Yes! She's happy with that one.
They needed that one just to steady it, keep that margin back to 3 now. 2.5 minutes to go.
Big 3 for the Lynx, and the crowd are involved now too. Shot clock ticks down to below 10, and Perth get another stop. Can draw level perhaps here. They go for a 3. Wickham. Atwell. Massive!
That's what they wanted, just that extra pass. They're really playing for each other then. That extra pass is like a bullet pass. So there's no hesitation. Should I shoot it? Should I pass it? It's straight away passing it on, making that extra one. And they're rewarded with some great shots.
This timeout is brought to you by DIY Blinds. To fit out your home with Australian-made designer quality window furnishings at the best prices, head to DIYblinds.com.au to order your free samples today. So scores back level after those 2 big 3s from Wickham and Atwell. You can see the top scorers, Wickham now with 24 points. And the teams are both in timeouts, just discussing what comes next in this seesawing contest. Perth have scored 16 points in this quarter, Southside with 14. And you can see a couple of important players on the foul trouble there too, Laurie, like we said. Lauren Jackson with 4 for Southside, so a chance for Lauren Scherf to do Lauren Scherf things.
Well, certainly, I think Lauren had the ascendancy on Jackson there, but Bishop is so experienced. She'll do a great job on her. Even Thornton, whoever matches up on her. But Scherf has to keep that same mentality. She hasn't really scored for a little while. She's been involved, but she needs to continue with that being aggressive.
So 2 minutes left in this third period. It's been a seesawing contest so far. Conti. back on the floor with Rochi, so they've gone small again. Bishop, cut off by Bibi, and here's Ryan. Perth can retake the lead here. Scherf able to keep it in? No, just stepped out.
Good try by Lauren Scherf. So she got the ball in the corner, realized that she had the smaller Conti on her, kicked it back and went straight away into post up. Just not a great pass inside and a bit of a fumble. Right idea.
Here's Thornton. Now Bishop. Bibi cuts it off again.
What Bibi's doing a great job is she's not, Bishop's trying to post up, but she's not, or Thornton's trying to post up. She's not giving them her body. As soon as they try and you know, make contact, she backs away, so it's much more difficult.
The leading scorer, she's Perth's leading scorer, Bibi, but she's taking a different role tonight, and it's paying off so far. 2 seconds to shoot. Edwards pulls down the boards for Perth.
Great blocking out by Edwards, and they need to do that every single time.
Here's Wickham. Heads to the free throw line. She's just loving every moment she gets. Great drive by Sammy Wickham there.
I'd love to see that little fist pump at the end when players do something, and they're really, I mean, everybody's right into this game, as they should be with the score line.
But don't forget, the Jayco Southside Flyers are set to create WNBL history when they host the Sydney Flames in the first ever WNBL game to be played at John Cain Arena on Saturday, Feb 4. So Victorian fans, get your tickets. You can see Lauren Jackson, who's returned for the Flyers this season. And Sailor Ticketek. Poch, nice. The Flyers back out to the lead. Ryan checks her feet, but gives it to Bibi instead. And Conti can bring it up the floor for Southside.
You can just see how Bibi probably is just a little bit off the mark today. We'll see what Conti can do in these last 10 seconds.
So 2 second differential between shot clock and game clock here. Poch. Can't land that one, but Bishop. Great on the offensive boards. A perfect finish to the quarter for the Flyers. It's 73 Southside, Perth 70. And here's the best stuff from that third period, and that last little replay there from Bishop. A great putback, and I must say, Laura, the offensive rebounding tonight has been top-notch. Both teams are getting good looks at the basket.
Well, certainly for Southside with 11 offensive rebounds. That's something that, you know, Perth really need to tidy up so that it's just one and done, you know, because they're doing a good job of contesting the shots. You just can't afford to let them get a rebound and a putback. But if we look at the stats there again, now look at that three-point shooting, 40% and 39%. Really, and that's what we would expect with a scoreline such as this. Everything else is very equal. And we talk about the assists. Southside have 14, Perth have 9. Both teams are really sharing that ball and finding the open player. When there's a penetration, they'll pitch it out. They sometimes make extra passes. So really good team basketball.
Taking a look at some of the leading scorers as well. Wickham with 25 points up to three-quarter time. Atwell with 13. And then for Southside, Thornton in double-double with 14 points and 12 rebounds. Rochi with 14 points and Blitzars with 12. So we're looking at some of Wickham's best work, and she wasn't really feeling it from the three-point line, but got there in the end. And it's been a great battle between her and Rochi as well.
Again, you can tell the depth, and we talked about this earlier in the coverage of Southside. They've got 23 bench points. You know, right there is Conti and Bishop both coming off the bench. Potch is on the floor coming off the bench. They just go so deep, and there's no change. When they come on, they're just as potent as ever.
The only person that hasn't hit the floor for Southside is Georgia Pinot, and to be honest, she might come on at the end. They usually do play all their bench players, and they all make an impact in their own way. You can see they've gone with those 2 point guards again, Conti and Rochi. And Poch staying on the floor for Southside too. So a big finish coming up in this one. It's been tight throughout the entire game. Perth trying to keep their season alive in 5th place. Southside looking to go 6 in a row. It's high-stakes basketball. It's Friday the 13th basketball. It's Sammy Whitcomb's basketball right now!
You cannot, I don't care what, and you cannot go under a screen with Sammy Whitcomb. She's too smart, she's too good.
She will punish you every time. Rochi looking to respond. Here's Bishop. Here's Southside ball. Robbie Ryan getting involved there for Perth. I think that'll be her 3rd foul as well. Here's Poch. Just named in the Opal squad earlier tonight. Dishes it out to Bishop. And Poch strong on the boards. A big friendly fire collision.
Well, it was actually Poch that hit her own teammate in Rochi as they were both going for the boards.
Yeah, that'll hurt.
So I'm not sure where the Perth foul is in that.
I was going to say the same thing, actually. I wasn't too sure why the whistle blew there.
No, because in fact, it looked like the Perth players were sort of getting their, you know, showing their hands, showing the referee they didn't have hands in there, and it just happened that the two Flyers players collided, and heavily.
So the crowd getting involved, not happy about that. But luckily, it's not too much damage on the scoreboard. Scherf. Bishop, good defense there, just took it right from her hands. Rochi. Got 2 tall players to work with, but gives it to a little compatriot in Conti. Gives it to Ernst. Conti for a long 3. Oh, huge! Wow. Monique Conti showing her wares and putting the Flyers back in front. 3-point shooting tonight has been fantastic as Whitcomb drives in hard. And Conti can go again. Poch wants it, gets it, but can't score. Sharp. Confronted by Poch.
A lot of bodies flying every single time down the court, it seems.
Both teams really hungry for a win. Perth needs to start picking up these big games, as you mentioned earlier in the coverage, Laurie. They need to start beating teams above them to try and climb up that ladder.
Well, Perth lost to Southside, so they've played each other once. They lost by 9 to Southside, but they had no Sammy Whitcomb there. And for Southside, as I mentioned, Thornton played limited minutes that game, 13. So we'll see what the final score line is, but it's you know, you'd have to right now. It's line ball. I'm not sure who to call.
So another foul called there. The Flyers come in for a chat. I believe it was called on Bishop.
Yeah, it looks like a little push there. She's trying to get an offensive call, but that was just a push by Bishop over the baseline.
So Ryan looking for an option, finds Scherf. Wants to go to work on Bishop again. And the shot doesn't drop. So Rochi can put the Flyers further in front. Atwell looks like she's getting ready to come back on for Perth. Rochi. Nice move, just couldn't finish. And Whitcomb off and running.
Oh, I thought she was going to pull up there.
Sharp, nice find from Scherf.
There we see Alex Sharp doing the hard work, doing the unstartable things, running the lanes.
Ernst off to Conti. Now Rochi. Shot clock ticks down to single figures. Bishop Not quite. Wickham off and running once again. 28 points for her tonight. Just makes such a big difference. Of course, like you said, Laurie, didn't play last time these two teams played, and the margin's just a point.
Well, she just knows when a defender's on her what she can do. Can I beat them with my foot speed? Can I beat them by getting beside them and leaning into them? You know, can I use my screen? She's just got such a high IQ, and she's so good to watch.
Scherf looking for that same pass again, but this time Rochi cut it off. And just slows things down for Southside, in the lead by 1 point. The biggest lead's been just 6 points, Southside. That's how close this game has been. Dishes it off to Bishop. That is nice from Maddie Rochi.
It's a great pass from Maddie Rochi. Good poise.
Let's see what Perth can do on their offensive end. And some really clever passes this game. Wickham again!
So they switched Potch on to Wickham just, I think, to have that length to be able to stop her shooting those threes. And there she goes. Nails it with a hand in her face.
6 minutes left in this ball game. She's got herself a 30-piece. So is Sarah Blitzar's record in trouble, perhaps? Wickham is feeling it tonight. Ernst can't bake it in. And they're sharp once again. Scherf. Goes to Bibi in the corner. Dancing around Ernst. The shot doesn't drop. The score's level once again. Potch goes for a three of her own. And Sharp pulls down the boards. Wickham. Scherf got in her way in the end, but she's able to rectify it. Sharp into Scherf. Good D by Bishop, but Bibi, all alone, can't convert it. Rochi now bringing up the floor. They
call the play now. And specific.
Rochi. Shot clocking single fingers. Bishop dumps it to Blitzarves. And they can't finish off their play.
Oh, they were lucky there. Sharp got caught just ball watching a little bit, and Blitzarves was able to cut behind her.
Potch hits the deck. Wickham drives in. She's feeling it tonight, Sammy Wickham. Perth up by 2. Timeout called. 4.5 minutes left in this ball game, and we don't know who's going to win.
33 points for Sammy Wickham.
And just body Potch there. But this timeout, it's brought to you by Aussie Hoops. The Aussie Hoops program had its biggest year to date, with over 42,000 participants registering to a local Aussie Hoops centre nearby. Aussie Hoops is the perfect introduction to the world of basketball for kids aged 5 to 10 years. Whether your little one is a seasoned basketball fan or simply looking to get out there and give it a go, we have no doubt they'll have an absolute ball of a time. Register now to kickstart their basketball journey. Well, Laurie, we need to take a breath because this game's been such high intensity. Lynx 80, Flyers 78. What do you think's going to happen from here? Do you have any idea?
Well, what's really interesting, and it's not often, I can't remember the last season or really any season, we talked about Southside and their defense, but they're actually first in the competition right now, averaging 74 points against them. So Lynx have already succeeded that, but that's what they have to really pull in right now is their defense. They've played some really strong defense this season, so now they've got to think, what are our structures, what is our rotations, and that's what certainly Southside need to draw on right now.
From that 5-game winning streak, they've kept opponents to below 70 points in 4 of those 5 games. An offensive foul called there. Wickham just having it her way right now. think it was Bishop getting it away. Look at that from Wickham. I hope there was a photographer there. That would have been fantastic to see. She just plays with so much passion, Sammy Wickham. Loves playing for this Perth Lynx side. So too does Amy Atwell. And nails the three!
That was just such a great play. The on-ball, the side pick and roll with Scherf and Whitcomb just commanded attention. And then Sammy just that skip pass across to Atwell, whose shot release was so quick.
Here's Rochi. Guarded closely by Sharp. And we'll go to the line for a couple of free throws. Bit proppy, Maddie Rochi, but looks okay now. Bibi just came across there to help, but didn't really help in the end.
That's probably the one area in Rochi's game right now that is sort of letting her down. She only shoots the free throws at 59%, so she'll certainly want to try and capitalize on these two shots right now.
Maddie Rochi's had a big game so far. 14 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists. Gets the first free throw. And the crowd just momentarily comes to a halt. And she makes the second one as well. Holds her nerve, Maddie Rochi. Sharp to Scherf. Into Wickham and Sharp from the corner. Perth ball. Up by 3 points.
Perth are shooting the 3-ball now. They've taken 22 shots, 10 from 22, 45%.
And a great display from beyond the arc for Perth. Wickham. Don't know what she did there, but either way, Rochi's got it.
Nice.
Makes it easy too.
Yeah, nice move by Rochi. Good timeout by Ryan Petrick. He just needs to talk to his group.
Rochi now up to 16 points, leading the Flyers in points. Since she's going to be the one to take them to a win. Kayla Thornton in that double-double. Sammy Wickham, 33 points. She's been huge for the Lynx tonight. And this is a huge timeout, Laurie. What do you think both coaches are saying?
Well, I know Ryan in the past, in the fourth quarter, or when it's been a clutch situation, he's really gone to that high pick and roll, that two-man game with Sammy Whitcomb and Lauren Scherf. Having said that, the Flyers have some really good defenders in that situation. They can, you know, sometimes switch, but they're smart in that situation. So I'm not sure. You can see with the last couple of plays, they've kicked it to the side and tried a side pick and roll. But I think you'll see those two in some two-man action for sure to try and generate some offense.
So both teams preparing to head back out onto the floor. Perth have scored 13 points to 9 in this fourth period. And they're leading by a point. Lauren Scherf on screen there. She's got 9 points and 8 rebounds, so she's edging close to that double-double, but I think a win is firmly on her mind. As Perth look to keep their season alive against the high-flying Flyers. Wickham.
Oh, that's 2 turnovers in a row from Whitcomb, but look at who's come up with it.
Alex Sharp, she's been everywhere tonight. Atwell, can she capitalize? Fouled by Jackson. He's back on the floor for Southside. Interesting sub there from Cheryl Chambers.
So that'll be her 5th foul. We won't see her anymore.
It's not what the Southside coach would have wanted. Or Lauren Jackson.
Well, again, you've got Abby Bishop coming in, who's got 11 points and probably seems to have worried Lauren Scherf a little bit more than Jackson has. Bishop's done a great job on her.
But as you can see, Bishop also on 4 fouls, so she's got to be careful in these last 3 minutes as well. Atwell makes the first. Jackson just a bit frustrated there on the bench. 2 from 2 from Amy Atwell.
Wow, would this be an upset if Perth got this done tonight?
Under 3 minutes to go in the ball game. Crowd are right up with it. Rochi can't find herself free, but oh my goodness, goes under Lauren's Scherf.
Just the poise that she showed there, spinning around, looking to make a pass, nothing to pass it to, and then finishing, like you said, over the outstretched arms of Lauren Scherf.
Atwell, oh, with the hand in her face!
Atwell is shooting 5 from 7 right now from the three-point line. Wow, get it in her hands if you need a 3. 4-point margin, just over 2 minutes to go.
Wickham nearly came up with it again. She goes in hard. And the arrow will point Southside's way. There's some animation there in that Southside huddle.
That was just, that was a lot of Sammy Whitcomb just digging down and getting her hand and trying to get a deflection. You need active hands, active feet.
So what can the Flyers do here? 2 minutes 14 left. They're down by 4. Elected to go inside, whereas Perth have dominated from three-point range. Beth Cole on the floor, a known three-point shooter. Bishop, Rochi.
Bravo.
Wow. Good pressure from Perth and a rare error from Rochi. That is huge in the context of this game.
Well, Southside really want to, they need a stop here. They don't want it to go out to I mean, there's still lots of time. 2 minutes is lots of time. But they want to get a stop here, so it still remains just a 2-possession game.
Ryan to Scherf. Here's Whitcomb. Been the playmaker all night for the Lynx. Breaks Potch's ankles. Ryan. Atwell in the corner. 3 shots to come for Amy Atwell. Perth's just making the big moments count, aren't they?
Oh my goodness. Oh, Potch just slipping almost on her own feet. Extra pass. And Bet Cole just closed out at a funny angle and just couldn't stop her momentum going forward.
Atwell converts the first. Up to 22 points, Amy Atwell.
She's an 80% foul shooter.
Makes them both count, so it was a long 2, in fact, not 3. Bishop struggling with it, but gets it out to Potch. Margin is 6 points. Just over 90 seconds left in the ball game. Southside need to go now. Bishop, big basket.
Big basket.
Wickham with it now. What she got left in her bag of tricks. I'm sure there's plenty.
See, they put Potch on her, just trying to use her length.
Ryan. Oh, Scherf left all alone. That is not the player you want to leave alone.
Well, she did such a good job of changing the angle of her screen and then rolled hard to the basket. And all the attention again was on Wickham.
Thornton. Bishop. Here's Cole. Under a minute left now. Margin 6, Potch 3. Perth ball.
Wow. Now the clock is definitely on Perth's side. They have to be smart with what they do here.
Ryan. Just needs to hold it up as much as she can. Rochi taps it out. The Perth won't mind that. They just get their breath back, get to reset things.
The Flyers don't want to foul. It's 2 possessions. They need 2 threes out of it, but there's still time.
So Wickham. Scherf able to just collect it.
Sammy's going to use the whole clock up.
In single digits now. Went for the long 3 instead, and Bishop's got to go. 30 seconds left for the Flyers.
They need a couple of threes.
Potch went inside instead, and Atwell cut it off.
Great read by Amy Atwell. Oh, and a turnover. They've got fouls to give, though, so she won't go to the line just yet.
And Wickham just feeling a little hit on her hand there. Hope she's all right there. Still feeling it a bit. It's a hand or a wrist at my...
Probably a jarred finger. Guaranteed she is not coming off with the amount of time left on the clock.
Potch. They needed that to drop. And Atwell can just hold it up for Perth. Whistle will blow first.
What a game that this Perth Lynx have put on the floor for their home crowd. Second upset of this round, Julia. First, the UC Caps beat Bendigo. Massive upset for their first win of the season. And now this, especially on the back of those two brilliant games that Southside's played, beating Melbourne and then beating Bendigo.
And a great contest just last night as well between Sydney and Adelaide too. So it's shaping up to be a fantastic round. A really crucial round in terms of the ladder standings as well.
Well, so now the other thing is head-to-head. This evens it up between these two teams. So who knows at the end of the season how the ladder's going to sit and how much head-to-head plays a point in it. But certainly, at least now for Perth, they know they're one-on-one, that they have a chance to, but more importantly, they've got a win against a very, very good team.
So Atwell makes both free throws, and it's celebration time for the Perth Lynx. They've spoiled Southside's party. They've ended their winning streak. They give their home fans something to cheer about. It's Perth 94, Southside 86. What a performance by the Lynx, Laurie.
Oh my goodness, that was just that was a high quality women's basketball game. Both teams showed a lot of what elite basketball is about, and from different players too. And boy, you got to give full credit to Sammy Whitcomb and the way she just leads that team and comes up with scores when she needs to. 33 points. She's same as Lauren Scherf last week. But wow, she was impressive when she needed to. But you know, equally, I thought Maddie Rocci really held her own too. And you know, when Southside needed a score, especially in that fourth quarter, she came up. But let's give full credit to the Perth Lynx. They were fantastic.
See Maddie Rocci's stats on the screen: 20 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists, and 4 steals. So she really stood tall for Southside. Just perhaps not tall enough. They've ended their 5-game winning streak. The Southside Flyers, and they have a little bit of thinking to do. They're still sitting okay in second spot, but like you mentioned, we can't take anything away from the Perth Lynx. Amy Atwell was superb. 25 points, 5 from 7 from three-point range, and 4 rebounds. This is a real breakout game for her, Laurie. She really stood up tonight when it counted.
And she yes, absolutely, her scoring was great, but I thought she came up right at the end there, some real crucial reads defensively to make life difficult for the Flyers. And you know, I can't give enough credit just to the full team and what they did defensively, because the Flyers are a potent team. You know, they're second in scoring. They average 85 points, and so you know and to come off that 118-point game, Perth to keep them at that 86 mark is a good job.
So taking a look at the final match stats for the game, and both teams shot a fantastic clip, but it was the three-point range that really set Perth alight tonight. Everything else was pretty close.
Well, it was, and the rebounds, and that's just the nature of that game. And I thought offensively, I know we talked about Alex Sharp just going after the board. She ended up with 9 boards. She almost got a double-double herself, but really equal across the board, and good shooting percentage. Probably a little bit low for the Flyers for their three-point shots, but certainly for the Perth Lynx, the second half, their three-point shooting really accelerated.
So both teams have Sydney to come next, but we're looking at some of the best work on the fourth period, and Perth really stood up in those clutch moments. 24-13 in that fourth period, and We spoke about Sammy Whitcomb. She really stood up. It was the three-point shooting that was fantastic.
Well, it wasn't. It was Sammy Whitcomb's three-point shooting. She ended up with 4 from 9, but she'd only taken 0 for 3 at halftime. So she was finding ways and means. You know, at halftime she had 16 points. And that was all about drives and feet in the paint. So it was great to see that she was able to change her strategy in the second half. You know, now they got to take away her drive because she's been hurting, and she comes and pulls up and shoots it. But one of those important threes from Atwell was right there, and great offensive execution by Perth.
One player for Southside that stood up when it mattered too was Kayla Thornton, 14 points and 12 rebounds. You saw her stats come up a bit earlier in that game, but we've got some great games to come. Melbourne against the Caps, that's in Traralgon, Jade Melbourne's hometown. Adelaide versus Bendigo to follow. And then on Sunday, it's Sydney up against Townsville. That's another big game in terms of the ladder. Townsville in that 4th spot. So a great set of games to come in round 10 of the Cygnett WNBL. So make sure you're hooked on tonight now and watching those games, because I can tell you, gathering from the games we've had so far this round, they're going to be full of entertainment. So we hope you enjoyed the coverage tonight on 9 Now. Myself, Laurie Chiswick, and our wonderful production team are signing off tonight. It was Perth. Too good for Southside at the Bendat Basketball Centre, 94-86. We'll see you tomorrow on 9 Now for a big Cygnett